1, 2, 3, 4. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on.
I might have just bumped it a little when I hit it. Are we okay?
I think you did good.
I think we're good.
I think you're right.
All right. Yep. Everything's perfect this morning, except for John's computer.
No technical difficulties
There was
whatsoever.
no swearing going on.
It's not that I, came down and turned on my computer and it said "F you" in computer language.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
So it's all jumbled.
So we'll be
I was trying to fix it. But
we'll be making an emergency stop at Dan's PC Solutions. Yeah. But
all right, let's do that.
That's for later. But
after the
for
show.
now, we've figured out a way to cobble
this.
together this thing. Which,
cobbling?
unlike every other show, which is totally planned out in advance and perfectly.
This will be a little off the cuff.
Yeah.
So
You won't
Get
notice
ready.
You won't notice a difference.
no, you won't. Well, it's Thursday, and something. Oh, you want me to open this for you?
I have to use Mike's phone.
There we go.
Because my phone is recording us, and for me to
hold
get the
the
news, which was normally on my computer, which took a big crap, I now have to use. I had to. You don't care. All right, you ready?
I'm just looking at. There's an unavailable attachment. Perhaps that's what the problem was.
That wasn't me. All right.
Well, it was from you.
That's
Said unavailable
it's
attachment.
from October 14th.
Okay, well
So,
okay. That's why it's not available.
Probably not.
All right,
Okay.
we're gonna get the show on the road. A couple of things coming up.
Because we're in a ditch right now.
Our
but
2
go
cent
on.
history lessons. We'll take a look at last night's Wednesday night trivia, see if
Right.
we got a winner, and we'll be talking with Jerry from the greenhouse,
Right.
and we've got a fill-in for the less you
We
know.
do. We have a substitute teacher today.
We do.
Yeah.
For the less you know.
Right. Well, not really teacher, I guess. A substitute pundit.
Is that what you want? All right,
Yeah,
we'll go with
yeah,
pundits.
he's a substitute pundit.
Everything else is falling apart. Why not this?
Right.
Let's get things started, though, with local news brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton.
All right, here's what's going on. Just several days after Representative Liz Cheney campaigned for Democratic Representative Alyssa Slotkin, former Vice President Mike Pence will campaign for her challenger, Republican State Senator Tom Barrett. According to an advisor from Barrett's campaign, Pence will campaign with him in Barrett's hometown of Charlotte. Barrett is seeking to oust the two-term Republican from Congress as they compete for Michigan's 7th congressional district, centered on Lansing, but includes all of Livingston County. On Tuesday, Cheney appeared with Slotkin to a standing-room-only crowd at East Lansing High School, in which they emphasized prioritizing American democracy over party loyalty. The Livingston County Sheriff's Office is investigating multiple cases of larceny and destruction of property that occurred in subdivisions near M59 and Cullen Road in Heartland Township. Images shared on Facebook show several suspects entering parked vehicles where they are alleged to have stolen items and then fled in vehicles. The Sheriff's Office is asking for anyone who might have information on the suspects to call Detective Mark King. You'll find his number and some pictures of the suspects and their vehicles at mikeandjohnpodcast.com. And the Oakland County Board of Commissioners recently approved utilizing $15 million of the county's $244 million share of the American Rescue Plan Act, while the Oakland County Parks and Recreation Commission is providing $5.2 million. $500,000 of that will go to Lion Oaks County Park in Lyon Township. Those funds will pay for regional trail connection construction of a universally accessible playground and a pickleball court, and a pavilion gathering space. And that's what's going on.
Have you ever played pickleball, John?
I have
King?
not. It's like a mini version of tennis, right?
Sounds fun. I have no idea.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
To me, if you're playing pickleball, you're in the villages in Florida.
Oh, no.
It's very popular. I hear it all the time.
There's a pickleball league, and there has been cheating in pickleball.
If we have any pickleball players in the audience, maybe contact us.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know what pickleball is. I mean, describe it. We kind of a general idea. We don't really know anything. And then, you let us know.
It's kind of like racquetball meets tennis meets ping pong. So,
all right. We can play it on a court, right? Right, because they're making a pickleball court.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
You don't play it on a field. You play it on a court.
But you're not playing on it. Like,
you don't play it in a lane.
Well, you said ping pong, so it's not played on like a table.
No, it's not like
yeah. Okay.
No, it's in the pickleballville.
All right. So this is called the segment called "Two Guys Don't Know What Pickleball Is,"
and we kind of don't care.
Well,
but pickleball's big.
Yeah.
News brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in Brighton. And have you been dreaming of not only a white Christmas, but a Simon G. piece of jewelry?
Who doesn't?
I'm dreaming. This Saturday, you can make that dream come true at Cooper and Binkley Jewelers for the Simon G. Trunk Show. It's not just a showing of Simon G's designs, but you'll earn double rewards at Cooper and Binkley and special pricing from Simon G. for the first time ever during the Trunk Show.
Wow. Saturday
at Cooper and Binkley Jewelers from 10 to 5.
All right.
The Simon G. Trunk Show. Coming at you.
Coming at you now.
New Zoo Review.
It's not Hot Fudge.
And Hot Fudge.
Yeah.
Homer will be there.
Yeah.
And so will Cass.
Are we the only ones that really remember Hot Fudge?
Right on.
The 70s
Coming at you.
Detroit-based kid show with the Muppet-type characters.
You know what? You know who remembers it? Pickleball players.
Yeah, that's probably
remember
true.
Hot
Yeah,
Fudge.
you got that
right on. All right. So that's coming up on Saturday at Cooper and Binkley Jewelers, the Simon G. Trunk Show. Make sure you attend that and get some great deals for the holidays.
Right.
Coming up, we'll talk to Jerry Millen from the Greenhouse and BrightonTruth.com. We'll see how things are going after this past week or so, after the debate with Jordan Genso, or at least discussion.
Right.
I don't know if I would have called it a debate, because there weren't any fist pounded. There weren't any...
It was a conversation.
It was a conversation. Yes, it was a calm conversation.
It was very civil, and
it certainly was.
So,
all right. So, in last night's trivia question, let me go to the trivia question as I get this computer.
Go to that.
I'll go to the trivia question.
Go to that question.
I've got to undo a few things after.
Don't say your computer's going to go out.
Oh heck no.
Then we're computerless.
You know, here's what we do want to let you know, that Firehouse Doors has been an OG sponsor of Mike and John from the get-go. And in these bags, which were sitting on my computer when I walked in this morning.
Let's see if it's magic.
I don't know if that's a computer fix. Firehouse Doors can fix your doors, but not your computer.
No, probably not. But
so, these are the gift cards we're going to give away.
We have two $100 Visa gift cards. We're going to give away one the first half of November and then another one in the second half of November. If you want to be in the drawing, just go to mikeandjohnpodcast.com. Click on the fun and games. You'll find the contest and giveaways, and you can enter right there.
All right. Last night's trivia question. Trivia brought to you by real estate agent Tanya Z with Sold by Tanya Z, whose motto is, John, comfort is the key to home.
That's right. You know, I met with Tanya, and she's very laid back. And, you know, sometimes when you get into the real estate, you know, when you have to sell a home or you're looking to buy a home or both of those, sometimes it's anxiety and tension.
Are you okay with that heavy breath there? I thought we were going to have to get out the CPR unit here.
No, but we need it for my computer. But you want an agent who is laid back, is calm, understands what's going on.
Like John is.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. And Tanya Z is just that, all right? She's going to represent you well, and she's going to make sure that you are comfortable in the process. Because, look, when you're buying a home, that's a huge investment. That's a big life choice that you're making. You want to know that you're making the right choice. Sold by Tanya Z is definitely going to make you feel comfortable about making those kind of choices.
I found the question.
All right, good.
We're good. Studies found 9 out of 10 women will do this.
That's 90%, Mike.
Very good, John.
Thank you.
Even though it's not good for them. What is it?
I don't know.
Use packaged meals, says Lori Hirth. Full of salt and preservatives. We'll have none of that. Tanning. Back in our day.
Yeah, well.
Put on a little baby oil.
There's a Crisco.
Hop out on the roof.
Right. Lay out your aluminum foil. Sizzle.
I'm doing my body good.
I'm being healthy.
Well, and Debbie says go out in the sun. A lot of tanning references.
Right.
Wear shapewear, like Spanx or a girdle, says Anne. Is that bad for you?
I mean, if it's too.
Oh, if it
tight.
cuts off your circulation,
Exactly.
that might be a problem.
Right.
Linda says, eat chocolate. Yes, please. Dye their hair, says Jordan. Color their hair, says Diane. That's the same, don't you think?
Pretty much.
Binge eat. Whitney says, have kids.
Well,
It could be bad for your health. It could be.
Yeah.
Stress about the small stuff, like maybe a computer breaking down.
Right.
Don't stress
Frankly,
about that.
I want to. Now, look, you've seen me lose it over machine problems in the
Yes.
past. Now, I think I've handled myself this morning pretty good
You've
in
grown up a
comparison
little.
to past.
Yes. Well, probably because
Fits.
it's your computer
Yeah.
and not that of a workplace.
Well, right,
something like that.
But
That's
I remained relatively calm. I threw a few, F-bombs out there, but
just a few.
Yeah, but
You didn't wake the family that we know of.
Right. No, they have earplugs. They know better.
Date bad boys, says Laura.
Oh, wow.
Dating a bad boy. No, I shouldn't do this. I'm dating a bad boy. Work when sick. Wear too tight of clothing.
That's like Spanx.
Delay relieving the bladder.
Well,
That's a good way to put it.
gotta go right now.
Use heat on their hair, like a straightener or blow dryer. Clean the inside of their ears with Q-tips, says Cassandra.
See, this is the thing. I don't know at what point that started to become a thing where they said, hey, by the way, don't use these Q-tips in your ears. And I'm like, well, then what the hell are they for?
I don't know.
That's what they're for. They're for your ears.
You're just not supposed to shove them in there
Well,
like a
I agree.
plunger.
Don't touch your brain with them, but
I did that once.
No,
That's
no,
why I'm
that
here.
makes a lot of
It
sense.
explains a lot. Overeat, wear makeup.
Did we get a
starvation.
correct answer?
I don't know that we did. The answer
Yeah, what was it?
was wear the wrong size shoes, more than likely too small. To make their feet look smaller, but wear the wrong size shoes. The closest was wear high heels.
A guy would not do that.
No.
A guy would not care.
No, because you just can't walk cool that way.
Oh, yeah. Well, as cool as I walk, I got to have the right shoes.
If the shoes are too
Oh,
tight,
of course. Absolutely.
makes you have to pee more often.
Well,
it just isn't a good thing.
All right, so thanks to Tanya Z sponsoring our trivia question, and of course sold by Tanya Z. Check her out on Facebook. Also, the OG sponsor of Mike and John Got It Going On, Firehouse Doors, serving Livingston County residents for the past 24 years. Family-owned, they strive to treat each customer like family. Firehouse Doors, veteran-owned. Mike Witt, a proud U.S. Air Force veteran, and they're your one-stop shop for residential, commercial, and rolling steel overhead door needs. For the past 21 years, Firehouse Doors has been Livingston County's only authorized distributor for CHI overhead doors. Call Firehouse Doors today, 810-599-7480. And don't forget, we'll be drawing for a $100 Visa gift card courtesy of Firehouse Doors coming up
In this bag.
on Friday, November 11th, which
Well, at
is
least I
Veterans
think-
Day.
Well, at least I think it is.
Yeah.
I
I didn't open
don't
it up.
want- I don't want to undo the bag.
I don't know. Kim is pretty good about that, so I'm sure it's in there. Yeah.
kinda
I don't
nice.
think it'd be like, surprise!
Nice ribbon.
Yeah, very nice. And, I didn't do it. So, all right. Now, we have a fill-in pundit.
A fill-in pundit.
Yeah, we do. Fill-in pundit.
Fill-in.
It sounds like his name is
Fill-in
Phil.
pundit.
Fill-in pundit.
Yes. Jordan
call.
Genso is going to join us
Yeah,
in for the vacationing Rich Perlberg.
right.
Is Rich really vacationing, or did he just want to take a day off?
I
and
assume
sleep
very
in?
possible, yes. But,
I think today was bubble bath day
right.
for
And today, we're talking about endorsements. Do they matter? Do you
Oh.
care?
I see.
Yeah.
Good morning,
Guess
Jordan.
It's time to get it going.
Hey,
How are you both?
good. Are you trying to imitate the regular guest host on The Less You Know?
I was about to say good morning, Mike and John, but
Right.
I really can't steal his catchphrase. That wouldn't be appropriate.
Well, that's more Tim Robinson.
Yeah, Tim Robinson kind of does it. He's,
yes.
Good morning, Mike and John.
Yes, but we're talking with Jordan Genso, filling in on The Less You Know. And so Jordan, in the news today, former Vice President Mike Pence, announcing that he's going to come and campaign for State Senator Tom Barrett, who's running against Alyssa Slotkin. Slotkin earlier this week had former, or I should say, soon-to-be former Congresswoman Liz Cheney here, who had endorsed her.
Do these endorsements really matter?
What you know, you look at these events and yes, they've got all their faithful there, and it's like, well, these people they're going to vote, or they have already voted. So do endorsements matter?
I think there are different types of endorsements that can matter to different degrees. To go with the Mike Pence example, I would view that one as not mattering all that much, because it's not as though there's any chance Mike Pence would not endorse a Republican. Heck, I mean, if one of the January 6th rioters who held a noose decide to run for a Republican, as a Republican candidate for Congress, it wouldn't surprise me if Mike Pence still endorsed that person. But
that would surprise me, since he was the target.
Well, they were chanting "Hang Mike Pence,"
even though it really didn't happen.
Yeah.
But
well, they were tourists. You know, that was
there's a mad sale at the White House.
Liz Cheney would not be out there endorsing members of the squad. You know, her endorsement is not a guarantee, especially for the Democratic candidates.
Okay.
But it does provide a good indication that she recognizes Representative Slotkin is one of those members of Congress that she views as being what the future of the country needs more of in trying to bridge the divide rather than add to it.
Right.
Because, despite how much Representative Slotkin and Representative Cheney disagree on the actual policies, there is a mutual respect there that they see each other as healthy for the system as a whole. As you have the bomb throwers out there from either side.
Right.
I would not expect Liz Cheney to just be throwing her endorsement around to any Democrat.
Right. Now, we should say, full disclosure, by the way, Jordan, you are a Democratic candidate for state Senate. You are on the ballot November 8th, and we should fully disclose that fact.
Absolutely. And so, I can also then, provide some insight into the endorsement process for what candidates go through when seeking endorsements, because there's a lot of different organizations out there, and those endorsements are kind of different than the personal endorsements that come from an elected representative or just a fellow politician. Getting their endorsement is not the same thing as getting the endorsement of an organization.
So I know as a candidate this may seem like something, but do you think it means something to the average voter?
Does it move the needle?
You know, I mean, if Shaq is hawking Doritos, he endorses that. I don't give a crap. I'm either going to buy Doritos or I'm not. So don't you think it would be kind of the same from a voter perspective on, that person endorses? I mean, sometimes it could be like an uncredible endorsement. Maybe there's somebody that endorses somebody and you're like, well, I don't like that guy and he's endorsing that person, so it could go against you.
I think the endorsements that can actually matter are the ones that are a little less expected or taken for granted. And so Pence endorsing a Republican, that's expected. I don't expect that to move the needle.
Well, hold on. Let me stop you there, Jordan. Hold on. Let me stop you there. So to play devil's advocate, there are a lot of Republicans out there who aren't happy with Mike Pence, who don't think that he was all on board with the former president, and because he didn't unconstitutionally stop the certification of the 2020 election, they don't feel that he's a MAGA Republican. So I wonder if, in a sense, there are some of those hardcore, Trump Republicans who would go, "Oh, Pence is endorsing Barrett. Then he's just part of the same thing. I'm not. Forget it." That could work against him. And conversely, to be fair, whereas, and I understand what you're saying, that it's not expected or it's not a given that Liz Cheney would endorse any Democrat, and the fact that she endorsed Slotkin would be okay. Interesting of interest. But on the other hand, most people they would just say, "Oh well, Liz Cheney might as well just be a Democrat anyway. So what's the big deal?"
Correct. But I mean, I think with the Cheney endorsement, it does give some of the voters who are considering whether to vote for Slotkin or Barrett they may personally identify or lean towards the Republican side, but now Cheney has given them that license to vote for Slotkin. Like, hey, you can still be a traditional old school Republican and a Republican on some of these policies, but still recognize that we want representatives like Slotkin who are going to be better for the country overall. It's just, I don't think it's a large constituency, but there are some within the Republican voting history who, they see themselves in Cheney a little bit. And so when Cheney says, okay, this is one of the good Democrats that you can vote for, that then gives them that, okay, it's okay if I do the same. I think that type of endorsement can persuade some. It's not going to be a big factor, but in a close race where the margin may be small, I think it can play a factor.
Well, I would think this is going to be a pretty tight race between Barrett and Slotkin, with the exception of Barrett's haircut. Who brought that up?
He's a veteran. He's got a veteran haircut.
Still. I'd recommend a new barber. All right? I'm just saying.
Criticize any other candidate's hairstyle.
Look, I can't talk about any candidate's hair. Okay?
You two are on the same page on that one.
Okay. I can't.
And sometimes Slotkin's hair is kind of flat and it just tucks behind the ear. So don't vote based on hair.
Okay.
All right.
So Mike is advertising his services for the 2024 election as your hair consultant. So candists, contact Mike Marino.
There probably is a position out there for that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'd be okay with taking that. And I'm bipartisan on that.
Well, sure.
Or center party.
You'll take anyone's money.
Sure, I don't care what side.
It's all green.
We'll talk about your hair.
Well, an interesting perspective.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I just in general, I don't know if whether it's a product or a person. I don't know how big endorsements really, how far they really go. But I guess that just is based on personal opinions.
Yeah.
Well, can I provide an example for in the group endorsement realm? As a local realtor, my realtor association, they provide endorsements to candidates, and the Michigan Association of Realtors and the National Association, they are one of the most bipartisan organizations out there with their endorsements. Their strategy is typically to identify which candidate is most likely to win and then to provide their endorsement in order to then have a foot in the door after the election to say, hey, here's some bills that we're looking to gather support.
So they're a little opportunistic. So they're a little opportunistic is what you're saying. Oh, you look like you'll win.
Lower the interest rate so we can sell more houses.
Because I believe they're well north of 90% of the candidates who get their endorsement go on to win their race. But it is interesting then to, as a realtor, get the list of endorsements around the state and to see, it is a very bipartisan approach to what they do. And so it's not one that you can anticipate on a left or right scale, but you can anticipate it based on, if the district leans one way, then you can, have some expectation as to who they're going
Right. I guess you somewhat see that, unions will generally endorse Democrats, and chambers of commerce will generally endorse Republicans. You kind of see some overwhelming numbers in that regard. It's not a surprise. But just, again, that's a broad brush. But okay, still.
All right.
I just checked our bank account, Jordan, and the money is not there, so we cannot provide our endorsement to you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well,
Not that
I
it
don't
would
know
have
what
meant.
I'm going to do.
So, you know how we roll.
Jordan, we appreciate filling in for Rich today with the less you know, and I don't know if we know any more than we did when we started.
So good job.
Well,
All right.
I'm happy.
Excellent.
I'm happy I can help get you nowhere. So thank you for giving me the chance.
Yep,
All right.
of course.
Jordan Genso, thanks for joining us for the less you know today. Appreciate it.
Take care.
All right. Have a great week. All right, the less you know with a fill-in pundit.
Fill-in pundit.
Fill-in pundit.
Fill-in pundit.
Enter your name here.
All right.
Name tag, please.
Speaking of name tags, you know who has a name tag?
Who's that?
Glenn at Murphy's Family Auto.
I see it. It has two ends on it.
Dennis has one as well.
He has two ends as well.
Absolutely.
It's a double end.
Right.
Murphy's Family Auto.
Double end.
Yes.
I don't know why we make a big deal out of that. Murphy's Family Auto. Go there for all your auto repair and vehicle maintenance needs since 2011. They have been specializing in car and truck care, including engine and transmission work, electrical services, heating and cooling, and brakes. It's the whole shebang. Call them Murphy's Family Auto, 517-552-3040. They're open Saturdays 8 to 1. Check them out online, murphysfamilyauto.com. All right.
I think we need to take a break for a moment.
I think we do. You're right. So
let's take a break and come back.
Give me a break. Give me a break. Okay.
Hi, this is Jerry Millen, longtime Livingston County resident and owner of the Greenhouse of Walled Lake. Brighton City residents, you're being lied to. Check out BrightonTruth.com. We'd like to bring a greenhouse medical facility to Brighton and give patients safe access. We're asking Brighton residents to vote yes on a medical marijuana facility being allowed in Brighton. Please check out BrightonTruth.com. The Reefer Madness Group, they're lying to you. See the truth. BrightonTruth.com.
Discover the truth at BrightonTruth.com.
There he is.
Good morning,
Jerry. How are you?
Oh, living the dream, you guys.
No, yeah, of course.
Well,
Do you know how to fix computers? My computer took a dump this morning, and I've got the black screen of death, so I'm...
he's winging it today.
Yeah,
You got some what?
yeah, my computer took a crap, so...
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so... anyway.
So we can't really look at the BrightonTruth.com website on John's computer, but everybody else can find it elsewhere on their computer, their cell phone. And, since our last chat and visit to the greenhouse last weekend, how have things gone? What are you saying? What kind of...
As we're just we're less than a week away now from the big vote coming up on Tuesday in Brighton for recreational marijuana. And what are you hearing?
Well, what's nice is the video you guys shot of the greenhouse there inside the store. We almost had 2,000 views like in 2 days, which was amazing. I thought because I think it really opens up what a dispensary looks like inside, and it kills a lot of those myths. But right now, people are still reaching out. Some people are going to vote yes, some are going to vote no. The other side is spending a fortune sending out these glossy, fancy flyers with just more misinformation, and I've changed my tune in the sense that I really don't want it to pass because it's a bad ordinance, even though the city has a trigger ordinance in place. But like I've said, they've zoned it to where you really can't open them. So I'd rather just come back with an ordinance myself and bring, a dispensary to Brighton and do it the right way. Do an ordinance that is good for the city and good for the people that live in Brighton. So hopefully this fails and I come back next year and we do this dance again.
So when this all started, Jerry, did you ever think you'd be where you're at right now with this, as far as thinking like, I want this to be voted down so you can come back with something that would be, in your words, a little better for Brighton?
No, I never thought the city would zone it the way they did. It's like, if you don't want it, then I guess don't have it. But if the people vote it in, then you have to put it in. But if the people vote it in, you really shouldn't try to use zoning as like a weapon. It feels like the zoning has been weaponized. So for the city of Brighton's sake and more for the taxpayers' sake, so they don't cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes, I hope it fails. I really do. But it's going to come back, and you will see dispensaries in Brighton, whether it's a greenhouse or someone else. But I can tell you one thing. You better hope you get owners like us, because if you don't, you're going to be sorry. That's why the city needs to get ahead of this, because cannabis is coming to Brighton sooner or later. The churches and the people that want to vote no can send out all the fancy flyers they want and put out all the misinformation. But cannabis is legal. It's not going anywhere. And every day that goes by, it becomes normalized and people realize it has many beneficial uses.
So So when you say that they better hope they get an owner like you as opposed to a corporate owner. So what would the difference be if a corporate owner came in and had the ability to put in a dispensary, a recreational dispensary in Brighton? What would that look like versus what you would do, like what you do at the greenhouse in Walled Lake?
That would look like basically like a Walmart, not that big obviously, but just a big box kind of store. And there's no attention to education. If you go into the corporate weed stores here in Michigan, there's quite a few of them. You have, Loom, you've got Skymint, you've got Common Citizen. So there's a lot of corporate stores out there, and they're not really into educating the public or into the medicinal uses of cannabis. They're more about just selling it recreationally and not educating and not showing people what the benefits are. So it's just about making money. And I don't begrudge anybody to make money, but at the end of the day, over the past 15 to 18 years I've been working in cannabis, I've learned that this is a medicine. That's why I say if I opened up a store in Brighton, it wouldn't be just a recreational cannabis store, it would be a medical cannabis store, because to me, all cannabis is medical, and I think people use it recreationally, and a lot of people find uses for it medically by using it recreationally. So, you would just see people that care, and you'd see more compassion, and that's why I urge people all the time, come in the store, talk to some of our bud tenders, see how we run the facility, and then go to a corporate weed store. Go to one of the big ones. There's one right down the street from the greenhouse. I'll take you down to it and show it to you.
So do most of the dispensaries, do they have the medicinal section much like yours, or is it pretty much like going into a liquor store and like, here's your beer, here's your wine, here's your hard stuff?
Right, it's changing, drastically in the sense that a lot of the products are the same now, but the difference is the education and the employees, because a lot of places are just hiring people that smoke weed and like, yeah, this will get you high, this will get you higher. And that's not how it should be approached, because it wasn't ever, when we started with medical marijuana way back in like 2008, it wasn't supposed to be this, but we all knew that it would go this way because there's money involved. And whenever there's money involved, a lot of people come and they get greedy and people just want to make more money. So, in the past 3 or 4 years, these Johnny-come-latelys are getting into the industry, and they're just trying to make money and opening up 50 stores, and it's all about money to them. But for me, started this a long time ago for the right reasons, and I'm going to stay here for the right reasons, because I think that people need to understand this is medicine, and it does help people. So, that's the biggest difference.
So again, just a few days until the vote, November 8th, where people are going to cast their ballots. And like you said, you're hoping they vote it down, and that's because, I guess we should remind folks, that's because if it does win approval at the ballot box on November 8th, the city council has a meeting 2 days later where they are more than likely going to approve their own ordinance, which would then supersede what the voters approved.
John, the biggest thing that's going to be funny is if this doesn't pass, I encourage Brighton residents to go to the November 10th meeting, because if it doesn't pass, they're not going to pass this ordinance that they have on that they're going to vote on here, and the council, they're not going to pass that ordinance. So that tells you everything you need to know. They're not going to pass it. If this doesn't pass, they won't pass their own ordinance. So they wasted all this time for what? For what?
Yeah.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank. Why did they waste all this time?
Well, let me put it this way: if it does pass and dispensaries are allowed, even with their ordinance being passed,
right.
Okay, if they supersede it and everything else, where do you think these locations are going to be? Where are they going to be allowed to be?
Nowhere. If it passes, they've zoned it. We can't open any. Where they have zoned, if it passes, and then they put their own ordinance in. If you look at the ordinance and the zoning that the city has put in, they're doing exactly what someone said at the Zoning and Planning Commission last October. Let's just zone this so none of these can open.
Right.
And that's exactly what they.
And that's the weaponizing zoning that you mentioned earlier,
which is illegal.
Which is illegal.
It's just the games, and a lot of these smaller city councils don't understand that when these big guys come in, they will sue your pants off, and you will tap out. And you will waste hundreds of thousands of dollars for what? For the inevitable. Eventually, cannabis is coming to Brighton. Whether that council, Susan Gardner, whoever doesn't want it, it will be there.
We got our Susan Gardner jar there, so there goes another $1 in there. That's well, I guess we'll tell folks, Tuesday, get out and vote, and we'll see what happens from there.
And you're right, that council meeting 2 days later will be very telling, depending on the vote, because you're right. If it passes, if the proposal passes on November 8th and the council meets 2 days later, all indications are they're going to pass their ordinance, which then does kind of confirm that the council had no intention of letting the voters in Brighton have their say. And then if it doesn't pass and the council meets 2 days later and does not pass their ordinance, then it was clear that was still the case, that they were that they always had this backup plan, and they have not been forthright about it. I guess that's the thing in terms of, if that's your plan, then stand up and say this is why we're doing this. But they've sort of just not answered questions about that.
It sounds like politics to me.
It's like the shell game. They're playing the shell game.
Let me ask you this, Jerry, before we let you go. Pass or not pass, are you going to be at that meeting on the 10th?
Oh, 100%.
All right.
Oh, you guys should come. We should do the podcast. They'll freak out. Let's do it.
All right. Well, time will tell, and the time is coming up next Tuesday. So, Jerry, as always, we appreciate you joining us from the greenhouse there in Walled Lake.
All right, you guys have a great day. Appreciate you.
Yep. All right, we'll talk to you.
All right. Bye.
All right. Yeah, we are.
We have the 2-cent history lesson coming up in just a couple minutes. But,
we do.
We want to point out we've gotten a lot of compliments on our website, the newly designed website. Of course, our good buddy Austin Lee was the man behind that.
With Orb Solutions. Of course, he founded it in 2018 to help contractors like his father. They help small businesses, especially contractors and service-based businesses, with web design, advertising, print media design, and marketing. It's family-owned and operated. You can check them out online, orb.solutions. So, very cool stuff.
And matter of fact, Austin just posted a video of some of the things he's doing with Orb Solutions. Austin Lee, if you're on Facebook, just check out his Facebook page under Austin Lee. You can find out more about that. We've got our 2-cent history lesson for today, brought to you by our good friend, Drew Goebel at Oakland Insurance.
Give them a call today, 248-647-2500. Of course, with Oakland Insurance and Michigan-based Frankenmuth Insurance.
All right, so I'm going to pull this up on our secondary computer today for our 2-cent history lesson.
Yeah. So normally I print up Mike's 2-cent history lesson.
Yeah, let's show everybody how.
And so my printer isn't working, so I said, all right, let's plug the printer into your laptop, which was an old laptop we had laying around.
And it craps out from time to time, but
this,
I don't.
This is what it printed.
All right, so I'm going to translate
If
this.
you could read that.
I'm going to try. No, wait,
we don't
does
have
it go this way?
We don't.
It kind of looks like
maybe
football
that is
brackets.
it. Maybe that is it. I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Well,
This
no.
way?
It looks like maybe we have to scan it. We need a scanner.
Does that get an RS code? I'm not really sure.
Boop. And there's your 2-cent
It
history
sort of
lesson.
looks
I
like
don't know.
a bracket thing.
So we're having a,
Okay, so today
Right.
is November 3rd. It is Cliche Day. And you all know those people that use cliches.
Like.
Give it 110%.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. We're all in.
Right.
Boots on the ground. All those phrases we talked about the other day in the post show.
Local radio really serves your business.
That's a great cliche, John King. Sandwich Day is today. What kind of sandwich you going to have? Hamburger can be a sandwich.
We've had
A fish sandwich can be a sandwich.
Well, right, that's a sandwich.
A hoagie could be a sandwich.
That's true. I don't know if a ham and well, then there's the debate whether a hot dog is a sandwich, it's a piece of meat between, but it's like folded. So anyway, we're not going there. That's it.
No, don't go there.
Well, that's a whole debate.
That's a tube steak sandwich.
Yeah, Don't call it that.
A tube steak.
If I was about to bite into it and go, hey, is that a tube steak sandwich?
How about a foot-long tube steak, everybody?
Okay, I'll just have the nachos.
1507 on this day, Leonardo da Vinci, not DiCaprio, was commissioned by the husband of Lisa Gerardini. Is that right? Gerardini.
Whatever.
Well, Lisa's husband, Mr. G.
Yeah, Mr. G.
went up to Leo and said, "Hey, Leo, can you paint my wife?"
Yeah.
Well, a portrait of her.
Hey,
anyway.
hey.
Don't paint my wife. That gets a little kinky. And Leo said, "Sure." She didn't smile much because it was the Mona Lisa.
Just a bit of a smile.
It was kind of a smirk. don't
Just
you
a
think?
hint. No, it's not. It's just.
She had bad teeth. That was the real reason.
Hint of a
don't you
smile.
think?
Yeah.
It's kind of like...
By the way, I don't. If I recall the story correctly, he painted the portrait. He never actually turned it over. He kept it, and I for whatever reason, as I recall, he never actually turned the portrait.
Why don't you
over.
look that up? And
Let me.
I guess you can't.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Anyway,
1909, the first airspeed indicator for airplanes was invented, like a speedometer.
Well, yeah.
Only
It's a,
for airplanes.
yeah. Called it
1909.
aerodometer, right? Still a speedometer, yeah.
On this day in 1948, the state of Kansas ended prohibition after 68 years. It's nothing to sneeze at, no.
Oh my.
But I did. Bless me. Thank you. Boy, I had a hanky.
Oh yeah.
That computer virus is spreading.
Yeah, it is.
The Russians in 1957.
The Russians are coming.
No, they sent a dog into space.
All right.
Leica.
Yeah. Well,
Poor dog.
they sent Leica into space. I mean, Leica came back, but
Not all.
no.
Let's
Fetch
just-
Leica.
Let's
No.
just put it this way. There isn't a milk bone waiting for Leica. In 1979, the Eagles started a 9-week run at number 1 on the U.S. album charts with The Long Run, the group's 4th U.S. number 1 album. Remember when The Long Run came out? Yeah, 1979.
I remember 1979. Watching Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay.
Sorry,
just had it
I
in
just
memory.
said it was a
1990.
Daisy Duke. Yeah.
Ice Ice Baby by the Great Vanilla Ice
The great.
became the first rap record to top the U.S. singles chart.
Right, because he ripped off Queen and David Bowie.
But it was still number 1.
I know.
He's rolling.
I get it.
It's 5.0.
Okay, thank you.
Roll.
Yeah.
Dum, 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 dum. It was on this day in
Oh, yeah.
2013.
It was dumb.
He again had one of those haircuts I would not recommend.
well.
But again, it squared off and wore those big jackets that looked like they had.
It was of the age, you know. It was cool then. It's things you look back now and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hide the hammer pants, everybody.
Well, it was funny because I was listening and somebody was talking about how certain rockers
Yeah.
were just like Bruce Springsteen never gave into the fashions. You never saw Bruce Springsteen with 80s type glasses on and one of those jackets where he's just always t-shirt
No,
and
it's
jeans. or
t-shirt and
whatever.
jeans.
It's kind of the classic look.
Sure.
Never indulged. Whereas some of the hair bands from the 80s, they almost dressed up. And then 30 years later, they're still dressing up. Spandex is really working hard.
You go to a Def Leppard concert, most of the people that are there are wearing the things they would have worn in 1988. 2013, the first ever YouTube Awards were held in New York City.
New York City.
The event featured Eminem, Lady Gaga, and MIA making live music videos directed by awards creator Spike Jonze. That's Jonze.
Right.
And others. Eminem won the Artist of the Year, while Taylor Swift's I Knew You Were Trouble took the Video Phenomenon Award. And this is for the YouTube Awards.
Oh, yeah.
So we're shooting
Huge.
for
Oh,
the
God, yeah.
podcast YouTube Award.
Right. We're on YouTube.
Yes, we are.
By the way, we just
we're
got
just like Eminem.
We just
and
got a new handle, by the way,
We did?
on YouTube. Because our YouTube channel, typically YouTube channels are like just a, random conglomeration of numbers and letters.
We
It's
got
like
a new
the
handle.
URL, you go to
yeah.
youtube.com/ and then it's like whatever. And they are now allowing you to personalize your handles. And so now, if you go to YouTube, you can search us at Mike and John Got It Going On. And you'll find our YouTube channel.
How about that?
How about that? You can also find it, by the way, at mikeandjohnpodcast.com. Back to the history lesson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
2014, New York's 104-story One World Trade Center,
Right.
officially opened after 13 years from the September 11th attacks. That all happened on this date in 2014. That is your 2-cent history lesson on this cliche and sandwich day.
Absolutely.
Have a cliche sandwich.
Okay.
Brought to you by Drew
By the way,
Gold.
that's the nickname for this podcast.
Cliche,
The cliche sandwich, yeah.
And our 2-cent history lesson has been brought to you by Oakland Insurance.
That's right. Drew Goebel, of course, believes the best relationships are honest, upfront, and fair. And if you want that from your insurance agent, he's the guy to call. Drew Goebel, Oakland Insurance, 248-647-2500.
Hold on. Back to that Mike and John YouTube channel. Mike
Yeah.
and John Got It Going On, our new
Right.
handle on YouTube. Are we going to be able to be on YouTube since we've had trouble with the computer today?
No, well, the phone is still, because I do everything on my phone.
That is the
Yeah.
handheld
That's-
computer.
I'm sorry.
It's not a phone.
Yes, my mistake. I mean, 35 millimeter camera here that I borrowed from Steven Spielberg
Sure, that's the one.
to record this. Yes, I'll take it into the editing suite. It's called an app. And I'll edit this up, and it will be on Facebook and YouTube.
Thank goodness, because I was a little worried that our YouTubers,
Right.
our tubies,
The
wouldn't be able to catch
iTunes and Spotify folks,
we have to apologize. That may not happen.
that's going to take a
right
while.
away. After we do it. All right. The other thing I want to cover today before we wrap it up is there was a big controversy at the at the Cornhole League World Championships.
Not a cornhole controversy.
Yes. Apparently, certain teams were using cornhole bags that were not filled with corn.
Were they corked?
No,
were they corked?
It was pellets. Oh. They were using some type of
they're
other
heavier.
pellets.
Were they heavier?
Well, actually, they
or
were lighter
lighter
and gave the thrower more advantage.
Okay.
But authority officials at the event, I mean, there was $15,000 at stake here, folks.
Wow.
We're talking cornhole tournaments.
Oh, well,
here.
yeah.
The world cornhole tournaments.
No,
not to be confused
not your
with the
regionals.
world
No.
pickleball
Right,
tournament.
no. Not your regionals, not your states.
Can you
These are the
imagine if you
worlds.
had fake pickleballs?
Well, they can do that now, surgeons. Anyway, go on.
Is that a gherkin? Okay, back to the after an hour delay.
Check out my Polish dill. Oh, I see. That's a kosher. Okay. Anyway,
All right,
yes, back
after
to
an
the
hour
controversy.
delay
Yes.
at the World Cornhole Tournament, officials determined that both sides were using non-compliant bags, but they decided it probably wasn't intentional.
Sounds like an insult. Oh yeah, you non-compliant bag.
The fabric bags are supposed to be filled with corn, which gave the sport its name. However, they were using resin pellets, thinner bags, which would give the players an edge. But since both teams were using them in the World Championships, they let it slide.
So I knew that was the origin of the name, but I didn't think that this many years later they were still putting corn in those things.
There was a corn shortage. Remember with the pandemic and everything, and popcorn at theaters there was a threat that you wouldn't be able to get popcorn. So they went around to all the cornhole tournaments and they cut the bags open.
And they used
the corn for popcorn.
That was not very good.
And so this
You know,
imagine if they made the cornhole stand where you're throwing the bags hot. And if the bag sat there long enough, it'd be like Jiffy Pop on the cornhole.
That's true. All right. Yeah.
How about that? Can't do that with pickleball.
No, you cannot.
I think it's time.
I think it is time.
If you could just play the theme.
I will. Right after I tell you about Richter and Associates Property
Yes,
Management.
do that.
Licensed real estate brokers, rental property experts in Livingston, Genesee, and Oakland counties with more than 40 years of experience. They're located in downtown Howell and, of course, online at richterassociate.com. That's RICHTERASSOC.com. Or call them at 517-540-9560.
And in their cornhole tournaments, they don't cheat.
No.
They use real corn in the bag.
Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John
Can we
got
edit
it going on. Mike and John.
Maybe we should just use the instrumental version.
All right, we're post show.
I wasted all my post-show stuff
Yeah.
with the cornhole
Okay.
thing.
Well, yeah.
All right, so we're going to get the computer.
I got to go run the computer over to Dan's PC Solutions, who's getting some free plugs here. And, but very well so, because yikes.
Yikes is the nicest word he said this morning regarding the computer. We'll see
All right,
tomorrow.
hopefully.